Greetings and salutations. My name is Tish and welcome to the Artist Haven. In this video, we are going to be making these little notebooks that have a hidden paper clip for a closure, and they have little pockets on them and some pages inside, but look, they have pockets on the inside as well, both sides. I got all my stuff together, so let's get down to it. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut down our paper. Now, because these are smaller, you can use regular 8.5 by 11 cardstock to make these, because your cut measurements are 9.5 by 8, so 9.5 across and 8 up and down. But because I want these to be a little bit different, I am going to be using some of my master boards, and since we made these master boards on another video, I'll link it in the description. We made these master boards and I want to use these on the inside for the outside of these journals, so I thought I would just take a bunch of scrapbook paper that I have hanging out here and we'll make a bunch of these all at one time. So right now, I'm just going to cut these down and we're going to save the edges to do some fun things with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this down to 10 and a half-ish. Okay. So we have some extra here. I'll put that to the side. And then this one, we only need it to be, we'll do 10 and a half-ish again. Okay, now this we want to be 9.5 inches wide, so we're going to go to 9.5. Just like that. Put that to the side. And then this one needs to be 8. So we go down to 8. Yes, we like it there. So when you're cutting these, you want to keep in mind your design because it's going to go this way. Okay, so I'm going to put this one aside and get the rest of these cut. All right, now that we have all of our bases cut, we are going to cut our paper. So to fit this paper, we would normally take an 8.5 by 11. So we got 11 and 8.5. We're going to cut it in half for the 8.5 by 11. So that's 5.5. So on the 11 side, we're cutting it in half. There we go. Those are words that I was trying to use. So we're just going to cut all of these. So 5.5 is half. Now, I want to use some of these printables that are in here. And so I'm going to make sure that they're all going the same direction. And then I'm going to cut off this little edge here. And go a little bit further. All right. And then I'm going to turn this around. And I should be able to get 5.5. And if it's a little bit shorter, let's make it a little bit shorter. because I don't care for the mixed media pages. I'm not worried about being exact. Now I'll save these for decorating the front covers, because we can cut these out and we have our front covers already made. Let's put those there. And then we're going to take and cut off the rest of the white. And let's get these. This was me playing around with acrylic paint one day and watering it down and just playing around and seeing what I'd do. So we're going to use these inside the journal. Or it could be a journal too. You can do more than just 5 sheets. You can do as many as you want, really. Okay. And then I have some just eco dye. This is coffee, tea, and avocado. I was just playing around because I like to play around it and see what happens if I do this and see what happens if I do that. There we go. Now let's say you have something like this where it is not 8.5 by 11, it's a little odd sized. So what I would do is come in and fold all of these. Okay, since they're already folded, we're gonna need them to be, excuse me, 5 1/4 inches tall. So I'm gonna take a few of these. Like so. And cut them at 5 1/4. Actually, yeah, it'll be easier to do them with the fold side down here. There we go. And if they aren't exact, I'm okay with that. If they're a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. In fact, I like to kind of cut it between the 2 lines. Keep it between the navigational beacons. We can see this is a little short, so we're going to put these in another pile and we'll use them in another notebook. And then we're going to cut these at 4 1/4 because they're already folded. And again, we'll put these in another pile and we'll save them for another project. And I'll get this pile done. We've got all our cutting done, so let's put this away and get set up to do the assembly. Okay, our first step in assembly is doing some scoring. So we're going to take first our master boards, and we're going to figure out which way we want the covers to be. So kind of like it like this. And we can see we've got a little bit of lifting here, so this would probably be a good time to glue it down. So now my Minnesota is showing again. So, all right, next, 4 1/2. We're gonna score at 4 1/2. Oops, that's not 4 1/2. This is 4 1/2. And because we're scoring through basically 3 layers of paper, I'm gonna do it several times to make sure we get a good score in there. And then, so 4 1/2 and 5. This is gonna be our spine. Okay. Well, jeepers creepers. Let's get our little ruler out to help us. I was getting all bajiggity. There we go. Sometimes if the scoreboard doesn't want to score right, you can just take a metal ruler and Score it that way. All right, now I'm going to fold these. And fold here. And then we're going to take the same side and we're going to score at 6, so we have a 2-inch flap. Okay, now we're going to fold this. Maybe. Let's do one more time. Give it some encouragement. There. And let's try that again. There we go. Now I'm going to take a little bit of coffee ink and I'm going to ink the edge that I just folded. Okay. And then I'm going to put this back on the 9.5 side. And we are going to score 1/4 of an inch. So it'll be 9 1/4. Nope, that's no bueno. Let's put a little glue down. Let's let that dry for a second. And then 1/4 of an inch, so 5 1/4. And then 4 1/4. And you want to just score to this 2-inch line. That's why I inked it, so I know when to stop. Let's do this one again. Oh, we are going to be cutting and folding this anyway. So let's leave that for now. See, even us people that have been doing this a long time still have bloopers and oopses. Should have waited a little bit longer for it to dry, but I want to get you guys making these because these are really fun. So the other option is you can flip it over and you can score on this side. And that's what we're going to do for these. I'm going to do that to the whole stack. So I'll show you again here. I think we're going to make this the front. Well, that's got the little boo-boo there. Let's make that the pocket because we can cover that better. Okay, so we're going to do 4 1/2, 4 1/2. Let's use our ruler again. Now we're going to do 6. And then I'll get it right eventually here. one of those days where everything is like, it looks wrong. All right. So 9 1/4. Five 1/4. 4 1/4. That's okay, we're cutting that part off anyway. Oops. And then 1/4 right here. Okay. Now, let's do the rest of them. They are going to be all the same. Our next step is to cut. So let's get our scissors and let's get one that you can see probably, hopefully a little bit better. I can see this one better. So that we have it, our 11 and our 2-inch flap is at the top right here. And we're gonna cut this little divot out. And then we're gonna cut here and we're gonna cut here, just to that 1/4 inch line. And these are gonna become our pockets on this side. So I'm gonna fold this and I'm gonna fold this, so either side of the spine. And that'll make it a little bit easier to see those lines as you cut. Or you can take a graphite pencil here and just color, use the edge of the lead on the edge of the fold, use the edge of the pencil, and it'll give you a little silvery line. And that's where we want to cut. Maybe. And we're going to do this to all of them. Oh, before I forget, we want to cut these at an angle, so you want to go to the corner, and that little piece should fall out. And then we're going to cut these a little bit. Now, if you're going to be rounding corners, you don't have to worry about this because you'll cut them after you round the corners. But I like to do it now too, just in case I decide not to round the corners. What? Kind of didn't come out. I'll grab my little scissors for this. There we go. Let's try that again. All right, and here. And here. and here. So now these will fold up. Like that. And they'll go right there. So we already have the base. I'm going to go ahead and finish all of these up, and we'll go to the next step. There we go. That's the last one. Okay, so with these, we'll probably stitch the paper in just because we're dealing with so many layers of fabric. So many layers of paper. Can you tell my brain's been on fabric lately? Yeah, these are these ones. Okay, I was trying to tidy up my desk because I went along here. So that one, we're going to stitch. And this one we're going to stitch. But the rest of these we can staple. And I just use my regular staple gun. It's a little haphazard, but it works for me. If you don't like the sight of red stuff, of what we call strawberry jam in this house, then put several layers of towel or even use like a oven mitt. I've done that before because I didn't want to poke myself. So let's pick out our papers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll do the 6 and the 7 with the leftovers. All right, so I'm going to fold these all in half. Next step, we need to make a decision with our papers and with our notebook if we're going to round corners. I'm going to round corners in here, and I'm going to ink them up in brown with this one. Okay, and then the next step is to staple these in, but we're going to wait until that glue dries a little bit. So we're going to go to this one. And I am not going to round, I'm going to round corners, and then I like the look of it. For some reason, it doesn't want to stick, so we're going to make it stick, and then we're going to go over this one. We're going to staple these. So we're going to get to the middle of it. Now here's my little helpful hint. Ink your edge. You don't have to do it heavy, just a little bit, just enough to see it. Okay. Then you're going to take your paper, make sure it's nice and folded. Then you're going to line up your line here with the center of the line here. And the center of the line here. And then you're going to clip them. You can use a paper clip for this. I use the big clips because they hold better for me. And if they're crooked, they're crooked. Don't sweat the small stuff. But just make sure they lay flat. Then you're going to take your stapler and open it up. I take a towel because I don't want to puncture my finger. Flip it over. And I know I'm about a 1/4 inch from the edge, so I know I want to go about here. And then I have little lines drawn on my staplers, so I know where the staple's going to come out. And I try and find the center again. And push that the rest of the way through. Watch out, because your staple is flat. And you just bend them back. I usually don't do that to the second part, but that one was stuck into the into the towel. So, and then we take this and find the center-ish. And then we flip them over. Take the binder clips off. Take something hard and bend it back. And there we go. Is it perfect? No, it's handmade, so it's perfect for us. Now you have one blank ready to decorate. If you don't have a carpenter pencil, I have the end of this tweezers. That works really well. And you want to bend it down as far as it'll go. Now you can even put it on the towel and push it back even further, but I find that that just makes the other point, the end of the staple go into the rest of the paper and it tears it. So working on a flat, hard surface works better for me, but play around with it and see what you can do. There's number 2. And I'm going to go through and finish the stapled ones, and then we'll come back and do stitching ones. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stapled ones ready to go. This one's a little stubborn. There we go. So we've got different colors, same papers, but they're going to go in different journals, so that, you know, it'll be great. Let's do our masterboard ones. These ones we're going to sew, so I'm going to go get what we need to do these. All right, first order of business is to get these glued down. I am going to ink these with black because I'm going to be using black thread. Now we're going to glue these flaps down. I'm not even going to try and round corners on this because it's going to be like 6 layers of paper, and yeah, I don't want to I don't want to end up cussing because that's what's going to happen. Again, we're going to ink all around. All right. Let's get this out. Let's get any edges that need to be glued down. Get that done. I think we're good there. Now, I'm gonna move the ink so we don't put our thumb in it because we already got enough ink on our hands. We don't need any more of that. So we want this to be up. And we want it to go right here and right here. So we're going to clip this side down and this side down. And then we're going to fold this and we're going to punch 3 holes. And we're going to get our embroidery needle and our embroidery floss. We're going to do 1, 2, try that again. 1, 2, 3, and scissors. Start in the middle and stitch it up. There we go. I'm going to leave these strings long. Actually, no, I'm going to cut them off. Cut them off right here. Actually, you know what? I take that back. We're going to leave them long. We're going to tie a bow. So there you go. Now, what I'm going to do is ink the edge of this. I didn't do it before because I didn't want to get ink all over my string and me and everything else. So here we go. Now you can see some of this is like lifting up, and I'm okay with that. I want it to look distressed and old and falling apart. So I'm okay with that. There we go. Next one. Let's do the same thing. All right, we got our 2 masterboard notebooks, mini journals, whatever you want to use them for. Now, you can put a hidden paperclip on these, or if you have them, access to them, you can use some fun paper clips. Maybe, there we go. Hands are not wanting to. So that is a nice little closure. Or you can use bulldog clip like that, which I like, but I actually like these little whirligig ones better. There, I like that. That looks cool. Let's make that one look like that one. There. So those are cool. And you don't need to do any more further decoration unless you want to. I might put a drop of glue on these just to make them a little more sturdy. But yeah. Now for these ones, you can decorate however you want. I just stamped the front, put some washi tape on it, left the inside blank. The line paper you can get on my Ko-Fi site. It prints out so it's a half page for bigger journals. And then this is just a hidden paper clip that I decorated to kind of go with what's on the cover. I thought it was cute. So we'll leave these ones blank until we start doing a journal. And if you end up making something like this using my measurements, my ideas, my thoughts, my opinions, or if you just take inspiration and run with it, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram, tag me in your post, or let me know down in the comments what you think, which one's your favorite. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. Love you guys, and I hope so that you have someone that you can say I love you to, you know?